o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And you're supposed to do that.
Yeah, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Doesn't matter.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Gustinelli,
Here.
Barsha,
Here.
Schmuckel,
Here.
McManus here, Horn, McCumber, and Dool, all absent and excused. So the first order of business is to elect a chair.
I would like to make a motion that we elect Denise Schmuckel as the chair of tonight's meeting.
Support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks.
Okay, the first order of business is public comment. Is there anyone for public comment? Where'd Chris go?
You could just go ahead.
Oh. Having no public comment, we will go to the next, which is the review and approval of the agenda and any conflicts of interest.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consent calendar?
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted in parentheses on the agenda is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar. We have minutes, March 14, 2023, recommend approval. Bills, general fund, $58,395.63, recommend approval. 2023 final March Board of Review assessment roll figures report, receive and file.
Any items to be removed from consent calendar?
I'll remove C.
Anything else, staff?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the consent calendar
Support,
with
with the exception of C.
the exception of C.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I think we need a roll call vote.
We do?
We
I'm
spent-
sorry. Roll call vote?
Cash.
It's not-
Augustinelli,
Yes.
Barsha,
Yes.
McManus, yes. Schmuckel.
Yes. Items removed consent calendar, C, Molly?
Yeah, 3C. You found on your desk when you came up, I had asked Amy if she would kindly give me 22 assessment rolls so we could compare. So just a note that they're there, and you can see the difference, how many residential we had last year and commercial, and we've been kind of watching those pilot programs, and it looks like we had the same amount as we had last year, so that's it.
Okay. Entertain a motion?
On a motion to accept the assessment roll.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have no correspondence, and we will go now to the reports, GT Metro.
Good evening, Pat Parker, Metro Fire Chief. I have on your desk a copy of the 2022 annual report. Not going to go through it, but it's there for your review, and it's also on our website. You can all be pretty proud of the job our department did last year. Also, this is the first time I've been with you this year, and in talking to Chuck and Chris, we're going to move Metro to the first meeting of the month instead of the last meeting of the month, because there's oftentimes in the last year you've canceled the second meeting, so I will be here the first meeting of the month.
Good.
In your packets under 6A are the statistics, and you can see the first two are total calls, Metro, total calls, Garfield, and of course medical assists again lead the way with some percent. The next two pages are the EMS calls in Metro and EMS calls in Garfield. And we ran 347 total calls with Metro. In Garfield, 266 calls, 112 of those are priority ones, 50 were priority twos, and 104 were priority threes. And it really hasn't changed Metro-wide. Falls lead that. Difficulty breathing, general weakness, cardiac issues lead that. Also is the pie chart showing how the runs are distributed across the 3 townships and then also across the stations at Metro. Also, Chuck and Steve asked for MMR report. I have that in there, and I've given a copy of this to Amy as well. One of the things that we just did at the last Metro board meeting to fill you in on a couple things that's happening is we increased our cost recovery ordinance. So we have upped our charges based on our actual costs. And we also added a section in here on standbys. And so what this is, take for instance, coming up this spring is a Run the Loop race. And that's going to be, half the race is going to be in the city, half the race is going to be in Garfield Township, circling the Boardman Loop. And we're going to start charging for standbys because we're having a tough time finding people to work it. And someone is usually making money on these races, and we'd like to at least just cover our costs. And the same goes for the Iceman and for the Vasa that we've traditionally stood by for no charge. So our board thought that that was good, and we also included charges in here on for command, and so that would be like if a chief was there and a command vehicle, that we would charge for that as well. We presented our board with a wage survey, and we first of all presented that to our personnel committee, and I think the personnel committee was happy with the results, that we are very competitive with our wages and our benefits. In fact, our wages are on the top of the scale for non-paramedics. Of course, departments that have paramedics, those people have a little higher skill, a little higher licensure, are making a little bit more an hour, but that we're very competitive with the agencies around us. We were asked by Cherry Capital Airport to see if we might possibly help them staff the aircraft rescue and firefighting operation between June and Labor Day. As the new carrier Sun Country's coming in, they need to up their index, and they need to have an extra person on there, and we just don't have the people to do that. So we declined that, and our board was good with that. We just don't, we're having enough time staffing of our own vacations than to have somebody at the airport 13 hours a day for about 10 weeks. So Traverse City couldn't fulfill that either, and so Dan and Kevin are going to be looking for other departments in the area or trying to contract it out somehow. We did apply again for a SAFER grant with FEMA for 3 firefighters. It's highly competitive, but we won't know unless we send in a grant, so we sent in a grant request for that as well. Really, the only big call for calls of interest was a kitchen fire in Oak Terrace Apartments. But an interesting statistic for February is that we had 16 motor vehicle crashes. So you travel the same roads we do. It's crazy out there, and our crash numbers are up. We'll also see an increase in our cost recovery for those accidents as well. We gave mutual aid last month 6 times, 4 in the city, 1 in Whitewater, 1 in Long Lake. And we received mutual aid 8 times. Traverse City was in helping us 6 times, Paradise once, and Peninsula once. We're currently working on our Safe Neighborhood program. We're not out knocking on doors like we did pre-COVID, but if anybody needs a smoke alarm in their home, we're glad to do that. Also, the 3rd Tuesday of every month, right down here at Station 11, we're doing the Friends and Family CPR. And that's gaining a lot of interest with our citizens, and we also will do it on request. But we we have the third Tuesday in April pretty much already full. So that's become very popular. The fourth Friday of every month down here at Station 11 also, we do car seat checks. And it was last week, and we were busy all day doing that. So those are some things that are happening at Metro. Is there any questions?
How are you advertising that CPR training class?
On our website,
Okay, is there a way for
On
us
our-
to put it on our
Yeah, they could put it on.
CPR and also good on the car seat
Right.
for people to be able
okay.
to know?
I'll have Jen get with you,
Hi, Kathleen.
Kathleen, okay?
Yeah, I think that'd be,
And it's hands-only CPR, and you don't get a CPR card, but, you know, what they're showing is that if you can just keep that blood circulating in a person, there's enough residual oxygen in there that we can keep a person alive until we can get, you know, a first responder in there or the ambulance. So it's very helpful.
do you offer training where you could get a CPR card?
We do, but it would have to be on a case-by-case basis. We just can't run, because it's about a 3-hour
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
And then we get charged, we have to pay for the cards and the books, and so I think our bigger bang for our buck is just do the friends and
Safety.
family, hands only, yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to say thank you again. I did this at the Metro Board meeting. I had an incident that my mother had to call an ambulance, and Metro was there, MMR was there, and I just want to say thank you very much. The response
welcome.
was wonderful.
Thank you for the support. Have a good night.
Good, thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
MMR report?
That was,
Huh?
Good evening, Amy Fairchild, Operations Manager with MMR in the Northwest. I've got January and February's run numbers and then a little bit of information for you guys as well. For January, we took 318 calls in Garfield Township. For January for MMR within Grand Traverse County, we were over 800 calls for medical. Garfield Township definitely keeps us on our toes. Quite a bit of falls and sick person, which is kind of a general category they'll put just about anything into. For February, we had 264 calls. 84 of those were priority 1, so lights and sirens response. 129 were priority 2, and priority 3 was 47. We did have a couple of staging calls. Those are for potential combative scenes where we need PD to enter first, make sure the scene is secure. Could be a psychiatric patient that needs to be calmed down first. It could be some weapons involved, domestics, different things like that. So we did have 4 of those during the month of February in Garfield Township. We do have an EMT class that started yesterday in Manistee County. It's an EMT academy. These are employees of ours that are going through the class. 3 of them have intentions of coming up here and working in our Grand Traverse County area. They will be done with class May 9th. They started a little glassy-eyed yesterday, but hopefully we're getting them going here over the next couple of days. They seem very excited. We also have a paramedic class that is starting on Tuesday, the 3rd, at the RTC here in Grand Traverse County. We had scholarships for 30 people. We have given out 29. So we have 1 left, except applications have closed, but we will have 29 paramedics in training. 10 of those work for MMR. We have filled the rest through, it was first come, first served. There was no preference given. It was whoever applied by the deadline. Surrounding areas, I know Cedar, Leelanau County has quite a few on them. A couple different areas, Crawford, Grayling. We have quite a few in there, so we're excited for the variety, and we're excited to get this program going. The other thing that we want to make sure to let you guys know is we are CAS accredited, which is a commission on ambulance accreditation. There's 250 agencies in the nation that have this accreditation. We've had it since 1997. We were given full pass rate again March, earlier this month. No deficiencies noted, so we are CAS accredited again for the next 3 years.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you. That was a lot of sweat. This was my first time doing this. That was a lot. Checklists are like this long and itty bitty. I had to go to the eye doctor afterwards to get glasses.
Yeah.
Is there any questions that I can answer for you?
Again, thank you on behalf of me for your response. I appreciate it.
We're happy to help. Hopefully she's doing better.
She is, thank you.
Good. Thank you so much.
Next is the County Commissioner report.
Hi, everyone. Happy spring break. I see we're missing a few people, but that's great. I hope they're having a great time. Not too much to report on the county commission. We did get a great report about the MPO last meeting. I know Garfield Township is going to be a huge part of that, so I'm really looking forward to the updates. We will be consistently getting updates, and I'm pretty sure they'll be coming to you as well. If not, I will get that information for you, as well as a Traverse Connect annual report, Warren Call. Really showed us a lot of things that are happening in our county. That's bringing up workforce, bringing companies into Grand Traverse County, as well as ensuring that they'll be working on daycare and other issues that we deal with that employers are having problems with. As far as my personal committees, I am on Networks Northwest, and I was just put on the executive committee, so that will be something really great since it's the heartbeat of Garfield Township, so I'm really looking forward to being part of that. That's all. Oh, well, coming up on our next meeting, we are going to be dealing with the pavilions. We will be speaking to the board members and the executive director about what has been happening at the pavilions, so I'm really looking forward to getting down and dirty and figuring that issue out. But that is all I have here at the moment. Any questions for me? Wonderful.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night.
Since we don't have a supervisor, we don't have a supervisor's report. Next is unfinished business, and the first unfinished business is public hearing consideration of resolution 2023-08-T, amending ordinance 18, payment in lieu of taxes.
Good evening, Tony Lenti with the Traverse City Housing Commission. I just wanted to put this in perspective a little bit. When we applied for MSHDA tax credits on October 1st, for some reason, we didn't get full credit for the line item for pilot, payment in lieu of taxes. It had to do with a couple of things, one of it being some language that they were trying to standardize, and the other one being a reference to a municipal service agreement, which wasn't in the application. In the past, that hadn't been an issue because it doesn't change your percentages that we would be paying. It's just how it was going to be allocated between the pilot itself and the MSA. But for some reason, we think that was part of the problem. I want you to leave here tonight thinking this was not a problem with your staff or anyone at Garfield Township. Especially since it looks like we're trying to do this almost at the last minute because I need this for my April 3rd application deadline. But it took a long time to get the lawyers involved at MSHDA and connected to the staff and your attorneys to make sure that they were looking at each other's work. So this standard process should be a lot easier. I challenged MSHDA a little bit on this simply because you're the leader in payment in lieu of taxes in the north, and I cannot believe they didn't understand what you had submitted. But things change with staff down there, so maybe whoever the evaluators were. We believe this language is sort of what they would say is bulletproof now, that there should be a full points on this line item. So if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them, but I do appreciate you taking this up and so that we can submit this next month, April 3rd. Thanks.
Anybody else on public hearing? Amy?
I just want to reiterate what he said. I worked with the lady at MSHDA significantly the last probably 3 weeks in trying to get the language the way they want it. They provided a template of what the ordinance should look like with the bullet points of the things in the language that they wanted to have. It was a lot of the same things that we had in our ordinance, but it was in language that was clear to them. And then we also were able to add in things like, he said, the MSA and our specifications for what would qualify under an MSA. The rates have not changed. The MSA rates have not changed. The terms have not changed. None of that has changed. It's just we now have a good template that was approved by MSHDA, not only for our ordinance, but also the MSA and any future resolutions that we do to approve a project. So it meets all of their qualifications for them to be able to go through the application process and get approved. By having everything in line with what they are looking for, it's much easier for them to say, oh, yes, this ordinance does meet, or this resolution meets what we're looking for. So Chuck and I worked together a lot on it, and finally that's why you got one more version this morning, because we did have affordable / workforce housing in there, and they did not want the workforce housing in there because it wasn't in the ordinance. It's still affordable housing. It's still going to be workforce housing, but it's just called affordable housing through them. So, does that make sense?
Yep.
Gotta
I know.
love the state.
Oh my gosh, the last 2 weeks, including with board of review and everything, it's been a little hairy. But we got her done.
Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
Any other public hearing? I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. Any questions,
I have none.
concerns?
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 2023-08-T.
Support.
It has been moved by Molly and seconded by Chris to adopt resolution 2023-08T. Roll call.
09,
Oh,
just correction.
it says 08 here.
08,
It says 08 here.
Yeah, there's another one.
Oh,
the approval of the ordinance change.
okay,
That is correct, okay.
sorry.
Roll call, please.
Augustinelli,
yes.
Barsha, McManus, yes, Schmuckel.
Yes. Motion passes. Next is consideration of Resolution 2023-09-T regarding tax exempt and payment to be made in lieu of taxes.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 2023-09-T regarding tax exemption and payment to be made in lieu of taxes.
Support, oh,
Okay, it's been moved by Molly and seconded by Laney to adopt Resolution 2023-09-T. Any discussion? Roll call?
Augustinelli,
Yes.
McManus, yes, Barsha.
Yes.
Schmuckel.
Yes. Consideration of municipal service agreement. Why do I?
What, you guys want to make me,
I'll
Yeah, I can.
make, you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I think it's, make a motion that we enter into a municipal service agreement today between Smith and Hensley Advisory Group and the Traverse City Housing Commission.
Support?
It has been moved by Chris and seconded by Molly to go into the municipal service agreement. Do I need a roll call on this one? Roll call vote, please.
Barsha?
Yes.
Augustinelli?
Yes.
McManus, yes, Schmuckel.
Yes. New business? Is there any new business? Public comment?
Thank you, and I don't think it would be inappropriate for you to tally up your legal fees and share them with me, and I will make sure that Mishta knows what they cost, so that we can deliver that message to them, that this is not, not, it is a burden on local municipalities. And, and it is maybe even a reason why you might have a fee for an application fee for pilots in the future, for things just like this, so.
Great.
Thank you.
Sorry, I have one more thing I forgot to mention. We previously had, you previously had approved a resolution approving a PILT for the Hammond Road Apartments. couple months ago, I think it was. Because of these changes in the MISTA, they too need to have a new resolution, so that will be coming to you at the next meeting.
It'll look just like the other one, but have a different name.
Right, like the one you just approved, except with a different name and with their project specifics in it,
Yeah.
so.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
Any other business?
Should we just come up with something? I mean, it's only
No, I
6:25.
want to tell Chuck that I chaired the meeting,
Yeah,
and it was only
You know,
25 minutes.
I like it.
Yeah,
Make a motion to adjourn, have a motion to adjourn?
make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved. See?